I want to talk about the exact moment most people lose money they have already spent. Disclosure first. What you're watching is my digital clone, my face and my voice reading a script I wrote and never filmed. Every video, right at the top, no exceptions. Here's the pattern, and I want you to tell me if it sounds familiar. Somebody goes to an event, good event. They have real conversations, they fill a notebook, they get on the plane home genuinely fired up. They've got a list of people to reach out to and a couple of ideas they're going to implement immediately. Then they land. And Monday happens. Monday has its own agenda. There's a client thing, there's a fire, there's the pile that built up while they were gone. The follow-up moves to Tuesday, then to next week. 10 days go by. Now the message is harder to write because now it has to explain the delay. 2 weeks go by and it starts to feel weird. 3 weeks and it never gets sent at all. And here's what that person concludes 6 months later. Events don't really work for me. No, the event worked fine. The event did its entire job. What failed was the 20 minutes afterward that nobody schedules. Let me say the harder version of this. The notebook is not the ROI. I know that feels wrong because the notebook is the thing you can hold. It's got pages of insight in it. It feels like the asset. It isn't. Nobody has ever gotten paid for having notes. Notes are potential energy, and potential energy does nothing at all until something converts it. A conference is a lottery ticket you have to cash yourself. The room hands you the opportunity. Nobody is coming to collect it on your behalf, and the ticket has an expiration date that nobody prints on it. So let's talk about that expiration date because I think it's the single most useful thing in this video. You've got about 72 hours. That's roughly how long you stay vivid to somebody you just met once. Inside that window, your message arrives as a continuation of a conversation that's still warm in their head. They remember your face, they remember what you talked about, and reading your name produces an actual feeling. Outside that window, something changes. Now you're a name they're doing math about. They're trying to place you. Even if they land on it, you've spent your first 10 seconds making them work. Same message, same words, completely different reception. The only variable is speed. And here's the thing that should make you a little angry about your own past behavior. That window is entirely free. It costs nothing to send a message inside 72 hours instead of 3 weeks. Every bit of the expense already happened. So what does a follow-up that works actually look like? Because follow-up is useless advice on its own. 3 parts, and the third one is where everybody blows it. 1. Name the specific thing they said, not the event, the thing. You mentioned you're rebuilding your onboarding, and the handoff keeps breaking. That single sentence proves you were listening rather than waiting to talk, and it separates you from every other message in their inbox that week. 2. Give them something with no ask attached. A link that's actually relevant. An introduction to somebody who solves that exact problem. 2 lines answering what they were stuck on. Small is fine. Useful is the requirement. 3, and this is the one. Stop. No pitch. No calendar link. No would love to explore synergies. Nothing. End the message. I know that feels like leaving money on the table. It isn't. You are not closing anything in that message. You are proving you were listening and that you're the kind of person who gives before asking. That's the entire job of message 1. The ask, if there ever is one, works 10 times better in message 3, and message 3 only exists if message 1 didn't smell like a sales sequence. Now, where does AI fit in here? Because I run a lot of this business on automation, and people expect me to say, automate the follow-up. Do not automate the follow-up. A generated personal note is worse than no note at all. People can tell, and the moment somebody realizes the warm message they got was assembled by a machine, you haven't just failed to build trust, you've actively spent some. But there is a place for it, and it's the place that actually breaks. Capture and reminders. The failure is almost never that you didn't know what to say. It's that 4 days went by and the details went fuzzy and the moment passed. So dump everything while it's hot. Names, what they're working on, the specific stuck thing, one detail you'd otherwise forget. Then set the system to put those names in front of you on a schedule so nobody quietly goes cold. The machine remembers. You do the caring. Don't get those backwards. That's the whole rule. Now I said the ask works better in message 3. Let me actually give you 2 and 3, because leaving that hanging would be the same mistake everybody else makes. Message 2 comes somewhere around 2 to 3 weeks out, and it has exactly one job. Prove the first one wasn't a technique. Anybody can send one thoughtful note. That's a known move, and a certain kind of person can smell it. What almost nobody does is send a second one with still nothing attached. Something you saw that made you think of their problem. A follow-up question about the thing they were stuck on. Genuinely curious whether it worked out. That's the message that moves you from person who networked at me to person I know. And it costs you 90 seconds. Message 3 is where an ask can live, if there's a real one. And by then it isn't really an ask because you've spent a month being useful for free. You're just naming the obvious next thing. But I want to be careful here because I can hear how this sounds. If you run this as a 3-step sequence with the ask preloaded from the beginning, people will feel it. The whole thing only works if you're genuinely fine with the answer being that nothing ever comes of it. Most of these relationships will not turn into money. That's not failure, that's the base rate. And it's why the ones that do turn into something are worth so much. You are not running a pipeline. You are building a small number of real relationships and accepting that you cannot predict which ones matter. Being a star is cool. Being a star maker is where it's at. That's not a nice sentiment. It's the strategy that makes all of this work, because the people you help climb are the ones who remember exactly who was standing at the bottom of the ladder. Last thing, and it reframes everything I just said. Cold outreach is asking. Warm follow-up is reminding. Those are completely different physics. Cold outreach has to earn attention from a standing start, which is brutal work and most of it fails. A warm follow-up only has to bring back something that already happened. That right there is what the plane ticket actually bought you. Not the sessions, not the notebook. It converted every future message you send to those people from cold to warm, permanently. So here's your assignment, and do it today, not in a week. If you've been to anything in the last month, open your notes right now and find one name you never followed up with. Send a 3-part message. Name the specific thing, give something useful, stop. If you haven't been anywhere, that's fine. Go back to Monday's video and put one room on the calendar. Everybody collects contacts. Almost nobody makes contact. That gap is where the whole business is. I'll see you Friday.